Hello everyone, welcome to Literature Warriors. So in this short video, I hope to discuss an essay type question from Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree by A.E. Houseman. So if you go through the past papers and model papers, you will find a lot of questions from this poem. And I also hope to discuss one of those questions and this question can become in different forms, but you have to write a similar set of facts when you get this question. So this question can be appeared in different ways. So let's go to the question first. Alright, so here I have mentioned actually two questions. The two questions are: actions caused by sudden anger result in disastrous consequences. Explain with examples from the poem Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree. And there's another question. Discuss the theme consequences of sudden impulses. So when you read these two questions, you may feel that actually both are same. The only thing is you need to address the question in a particular manner using the words, using the key words in the question. So remember, I'm going to explain how you can build up your answer. I'm not giving you a complete sample answer, but I'm going to explain you how you can build up your answer. So let's go to the question first. So when you're writing an essay type answer, you have to focus on several important things. Especially when you get a question at once, you should not start writing at once you see the question. So most of the students, what they do is, once they see the question at once, they start writing. They know they have a kind of a structure that they follow, and they just start writing and they write and write. So once you write like that, most of the times you are writing so many unnecessary details and you're missing the relevant details. So considering that, I'm going to tell you a way where you can pre-plan your answer, and you have to pre-plan what you're going to write, and then you're taking at least 3 minutes to have a good understanding of the question first. You may think that when you're writing the literature paper, it's really difficult to manage the time. So spending at least 3 minutes on doing like planning something is not necessary. But you may not know that those 3 minutes worth a lot, because you are writing a good answer if you're spending at least 3 minutes to pre-plan your answer. So let's see, when we go to this question, actions caused by sudden anger results in disastrous consequences. So both the questions from the poem Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree. So if we take this question, now first, I'm taking the first question first. So just think that the important thing here, actions caused by sudden anger, disastrous consequences. So these two phrases are really important when you are discussing the question, when you are answering the question. And when we go to the second question, consequences of sudden impulses. That is the theme given, and it is directly asked. Most of the times you may not get questions like this. The direct questions like discuss the theme. But however, the same question appears in the first question. Both the questions are same. Both the questions are same in the sense you have to write similar facts here. But you have to make sure when you're answering the question, the facts should address the question with the keywords of the question. And you know, actions caused by sudden anger. So when we take the poem Travel to Barn and Stack and Tree, actually the action caused by sudden anger is the death of Morris, right? So who got the sudden anger? Who was hot-tempered? The narrator, the speaker of the poem. So as a result, what happens? He kills his own brother out of sudden anger, Morris. And what are the disastrous consequences? Consequences means the results. So what are the results that the narrator got after reacting or responding to the sudden anger he got? So out of sudden anger, he has killed his brother. That is the action here. That is what happened with the sudden anger. So what are the results? Disastrous results, disastrous consequences. So one thing is the narrator lost his brother. The other thing is he lost all his hopes and dreams. Why? Because he had all his hopes and dreams where he has born and grown up in this agricultural setting. So he's having a great distress because he has to leave this agricultural setting. And then in the third stanza, we find that he recalls the memory with the mother. And he sadly explains the situation of the mother. So in a way, mother is experiencing the bad, disastrous results of the action of the narrator, and also the narrator himself experiences it because he has to leave his own mother as well. So now I think you understood the question. So we have to talk about, now in this question, we have to talk about the sudden anger, or we call sudden impulses, The instant feelings we are getting, those are the sudden impulses. So in this poem, we found that the instant feeling that the narrator got was anger, right? So we have to talk about the incident caused by anger, and then the consequences, the results of this, of responding, or the results of responding to sudden anger or sudden impulses. So we have to build up our answer focusing more on the consequences of sudden impulses, consequences of sudden anger. All right, so I'm going to go with the structure of the answer you need to build up. Let's see. So, you know, when you're writing an answer, you need to write an introduction. So I suggest you, if you can start your answer with a quotation relating to the question, it would be great and you will get more marks. So here I have written an example. This is not exactly what you have to take. You can create your own sayings, quotations, or whatever the thing. And you can just start, if you feel like I don't know anything about this, you can just start with the poem Travel to Barn and Stack and Tree. It's written by A.E. Housman. So I'm telling you a way that you can improve the way of your way of writing an answer, and you can score more marks if you are using something practical related to the question. So here I have used the phrase. It is said that sudden anger is a passing storm, but it leaves a black mark in our lives. So this is just an example. You can use a better quotation than this. And you have to then mention, I have put some dots here, so you have to complete the introductory part. And the introductory part should not be very lengthy. You have to shorten it for 5 to 6 lines. So then in the second line, you can mention, if you're writing a quotation, in the second line, you can mention about the poem and the poet. You're not writing about the poet, you're just mentioning his or her name. And then I suggest you to write something general about the poem in the third line. That means now at once you see now you have in your anthology, you have about 20 poems. So, and there are prose as well. So I'm just talking about the poems. So you're having 20 poems. And when you hear the name, when you hear the title of each poem, if you have studied all the poems, you get something into your mind. So now, for example, if we take the poem Eagle, just take the poem Eagle. Now, if I mention the word eagle, you get something into your mind. You will say, that's about a bird, and that bird is a kind of a majestic creature, and the poet has birds on it. You get something into your mind. So what you get into your mind should be written in one line, something general. So once you hear the word, once you hear the title Farewell to Barn and Stock and Tree, you may get into your mind, this is a confession. This is a confession done by the narrator. He has killed his own brother and now he's repenting. That is the summary of the poem. So you have to make a sentence, a relevant sentence, using the things that you get into your mind at once. And it's better if you can relate that sentence to the question as well. If you can write something related to the question, even the line you are writing, if you can make it related to the relevant to the question, that would be great. Right, okay. So at the end of the introductory paragraph, just I'm talking the introductory paragraph. So at the end of the introductory paragraph, you're writing a thesis statement. That may be you have to focus on the main point that you're going to bring out in the rest of your answer. So then the then the examiner knows that you are writing a perfect answer and you are writing a relevant answer, not an irrelevant. So here as the thesis statement I have taken, I would explain the theme of consequences of sudden impulses, elaborating the narrator's sorrowful or distressful confession. So you can understand now that discuss the theme of consequences of sudden impulses. So I'm here writing at the end, at the last line of the introductory paragraph, I'm writing, I've explained the theme of consequences. How? By elaborating the narrator's sorrowful confession. So I'm just revising you again. You can start the introductory paragraph with a quotation like this, and then you can write something. You have to write about the poem and the poet, not about, just mention the title and the poet. And then the next line, you can write something related to something general related to the poem and the thesis statement. So if you have asked a question like, do you agree? Then you can use here, instead of telling I would explain, you can use I would agree, or it is agreeable that, I would disagree that. So something like that. So this is just the introductory paragraph. So don't write very lengthy introductory paragraphs. Shorten it to maximum 7 lines. Right. So let's go to the body paragraphs. So there should be at least 2 body paragraphs. That means 2 points that you're going to discuss. paragraphs. If you can have 3 points, it would be better. So here I have just mentioned the body paragraphs of the answer, second paragraph, third paragraph, and the conclusion. So let's see what are the body paragraphs contain. So in the first paragraph, now you know I have asked you, you have to have a pre-plan. So our question is sudden consequences of sudden anger. So just think about 3 consequences of sudden anger that the narrator had experienced. The narrator is experiencing now, and the narrator would experience in the future, right? So the first thing I have here written, I have taken the first consequence as starting from the connector. Firstly, narrator lost his own brother and has fallen into lifetime mental depression due to sudden impulses. So I have mentioned the first consequence of the sudden impulse. Right. So there you can explain that point. So within that you have to use quotations. Here, some quotations to prove what you have written. And remember, you are not discussing the quotations when you are answering a question. You are using the quotations as evidence, but not describing the quotations. Now, most of the times I have seen in the answers, most of the students do, they write a quotation and they explain. That is one paragraph. Then again another quotation and explain. Then that is another paragraph. Remember, you are not asked to describe the quotations. You have to create your own points, which suits the question. Now you're answering the question, so you have to make. How can I answer this question? So you have to make your points, and to prove those points, you are taking quotations as evidence. Otherwise, you are not describing the quotations. Do not do that. Okay, so the first paragraph I have described. First paragraph means after the introductory paragraph. This is the first body paragraph. That means in the whole answer, this is the second paragraph. And here I am discussing this point. So you know, you can take something related to the society as well, because you know, most of the time siblings fight in real life too, but they do not intend to kill each other. They just fight for very silly reasons, but they have a great bond, great attachment. So that is also shown in this poem as well. Because after killing his own brother, narrator repents a lot. Why? Because he has done it out of sudden impulses, not with a great anger inside. All right, so you can explain that one. And I'm again telling you, now we always have to make sure that we are writing things relevant to the question, right? So at the end of the first paragraph, I have here again mentioned, so losing his own brother is a disastrous consequence of sudden anger. Again, I have addressed the question. You can see at the beginning of the paragraph also, I have written one consequence. And after proving the things also, finally, at the end of that paragraph also, I have again referred to the question and said, so losing his own brother is a disastrous consequence of that sudden anger. All right, then this is the second paragraph. Second body paragraph. And the second point I have taken. Second, he lost his mother's love, affection, and warmth forever due to sudden impulses. So this is another consequence of sudden impulses. So you can use the points like, you know, motherly love and affection are really essential for a child, though he is small or young, or old, the child needs mother's love and affection. And when we go through this poem, we can see that we can come to a conclusion that they have been a happy family with the mother and children, because they were working together in the field, and mother was waiting for the sons to come home, and so they are having meals together. So we can see that the narrator also had a great affection, great connection with his mother. So here you can see in the third stanza it says, "My mother thinks us long way." So that is how the mothers are. This time the field was mown. She had two sons advising day, tonight she'll be alone. So that is the pathetic situation of the mother as well. And on the other hand, the narrator too suffers because he's gonna lose his mother's love and affection and warmth forever, because he's telling that he's no more coming home. Right. So after proving the things with the quotations, at the end of that paragraph also I have written, thus he became unfortunate and deprived of precious love and care of his mother due to the action he performed out of sudden impulse. So again I have related to the question. And then the next point I have taken here is, another consequence is that the narrator had to leave the place where he was born and grown up, where he had a lot of hopes for his future due to sudden impulses. So you can see now he's bidding farewell to inanimate things, the non-living things such as barn, stack, trees, servant shore. Why? Because he has a great attachment with these places. And he tells that in the fifth stanza, he tells, I wish you strength to bring you pride. Come Lammerstide, I wish you luck, come Lammerstide, at racing on the green. So he tells all these things to Terence. He's wishing luck to Terence. So that indirectly tells that he had a lot of dreams. The narrator had a lot of dreams and hopes in this green, in the struggle of green. So they are in a greenery environment. Their struggle is with the agriculture. So Lammerstide is the harvesting festival. So he was also waiting. He was eagerly waiting to have the Lammerstide, to have the harvest of his life after racing, after struggling in this greenery environment. So, it tells us that he had a lot of dreams and hopes for his future in this very place, and he had a great attachment to this place. So leaving such a place and leaving such hopes and dreams for his future, it is disastrous, it is distressful. He's having a great mental frustration. So you can see that is another harsh consequence of sudden anger, sudden impulse. So at the end of discussing that point as well, I have written, hence, due to the narrator's sudden temper, he was frustrated to leave the agricultural setting where he had all his hopes and dreams for his future. So by now I have discussed all the 3 points related to consequences of sudden impulses. Well, so let's go to the conclusion now. So here is the concluding paragraph. Now, I have seen most of the students writing the conclusion in one line. That's okay, but better if you can summarize the whole answer you have written, the points of your answer in the concluding paragraph, and then to write a concluding line. So here I have used this in conclusion. So instead of in conclusion, you can use the phrases such as to conclude, to summarize as a whole in brief like that. So I have here written the poem Travel to Barn and Stack and Tree brings out how sudden impulses affect negatively in human life. The narrator was subjected to leave the agricultural setting, which he is so much attached to, and he has to spend the rest of his life without his close relatives, his mother and his brother, due to his action upon sudden anger. So can you see in this line starting from the narrator and upon sudden anger, I have summarized all the points that I have taken out when I was discussing the answer. First one is leaving the agricultural setting, and the second one is losing his mother and brother, right? So I have concluded, in the conclusion, I have summarized my points. And he would be in distress forever for killing his own blood. That is another worse consequence, because he cannot forgive his heart. Though he is leaving this place, he can never forget this pain, because he has killed his own blood out of sudden anger, out of sudden impulse, not because he had a long-term wrath or he had planned to take revenge from the brother. It was sudden impulse. So the final line I have written, therefore, it is obvious that sudden impulses cause disastrous consequences. So this is how you can build up your answer. So in the pre-planning session of your answer, you can just note down these 3 facts. What are the 3 points you are going to take? At once you see the question, you have to note down the 3 facts you are taking. And if you get some quotations into your mind, just note down them, roughly note down them. Then start writing the answer. Use always relate to the question, always write the things relevant to the question. Okay, so this is how you have to build up a better answer when you're writing an essay type answer. Okay, I hope that you have got something related to writing answers. Hope to meet you with another video. Thank you everyone for watching.